Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Let me know in the comments below. So, good news. A couple of weeks, or last week, or 2 weeks ago, I don't know when it was, I told you that I had been in talks with a board game publisher in a country formerly known as Persia. I don't want to say the country name because, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of animosity between our two countries politically, and I don't know, maybe YouTube will flag the video or something. Whatever, I don't care. It's about board games, but you know, it's a country that's kind of like I walk, but if I was faster, right? So I figured I'd tell you a little bit about it. Like, this whole thing happened because, well, I don't know why it happened. I've talked to the gentleman who is in charge of the publishing company. He's the president of the publishing company, and he owns a games, toys, and books store in a city called I don't remember the name of the city. It's in a province called Qom, or QOM, wherever that is. And he's starting to publish games. And somehow he found my game Scallywags and said, I want to publish that. How do I publish that? And so he found my name and found me on Instagram and Twitter and started to say, hey, you know, I'm interested. And of course, when I first got some messages from a person who obviously doesn't speak English very well about my board game and wanting my permission, and I was like, whatever, this is weird. I kind of just ignored it, but he pestered me. Like, he was really after this game, and I was like, okay. So I finally started communicating with him, and he said, I'm a publisher, I really want to publish this game, I love this game, how can I publish it? And I said, well, I don't own the rights. Like, you'd have to talk to the manufacturer or the publisher in America, which is GameRight. He contacted them. They said, no, we don't own the rights. That went back to Chevee. And I was like, oh, okay. So he said, you know, I would love to have your permission. He said, there's no copyright law here, but I want to respect U.S. laws. I want to respect your laws. You know, I think that there should be copyright laws, so I want to do this, you know, as legitimately as possible. And I said, I respect that. So we talked a little bit about it. You know, he's licensing the game files from GameRight. He's licensing the game from me. And so we negotiated a little bit. You know, he was kind of like, I don't know how much I can afford to pay. You know, I was like, are you interested in paying royalties? Or are you interested in paying a lump sum? He said, I just want to pay you up front and then we'll go from there. And I said, okay. So we came to an agreement. It's a very, very, very small amount of money. Like, you know, basically, you know, not much. But he's going to send me a few copies of the final product. So that'll be cool. I'll get to have like my game printed in a different language, and I'm really excited about that. But it's been a really interesting process working with him. He's obviously super passionate about games, and I said, how did you get this game? Like, where did you find it? And I guess he was looking for pirate-themed games, and he wants to publish kind of family-friendly games. And he was just searching on Board Game Geek, and he came across it, and he said, I want to make this game. And he bought it off of Amazon. He said it took like 2 months to get there, and when it got there, he played it and fell in love with it and said, I want to print this game in Persian. That's how this all happened. And that's so bizarre. And it kind of, I guess, it's kind of one of those situations that, had my name not been on that box, would this have even happened? You know, I believe very strongly in crediting those who are responsible, right? And there are some publishers who don't. There are some publishers who go out of their way to kind of hide the designer or author's name. There are people who they go out of their way to obscure who created things and take the credit for the company. And I've always found that to be a very ugly process. Like, why don't you don't go find books who are printed by, who is this printed by? FR. I don't know who who this is, but you wouldn't find this book with no author's name on it, right? You wouldn't find a movie with no director or cast credits. That just doesn't fly. But in the board game world, there are publishers who don't put credits, who will not put credits. They want credit for their company. And that's always been really bizarre to me. So had my name not been on the box, who knows? This might not have happened. Ultimately, is this a big deal? To me, it is. To me, it means that thing that I created in 2010 or 11 or 12 or whenever I created it, that thing, no, it was 2007, 2006. It didn't get licensed until 2011. That thing that I created 15 years ago still means something, right? It's still valuable. It still has value to bring to the world. And this is a tiny little step, It's a very small print run. I authorized him for 2,000, and then we'll renegotiate if he does more than that. So it's a very small step. But for me, it's a really awesome step. Like, I never thought I would publish a game in the Persian language. Like, that's really awesome. I'm really excited about it. So maybe more will come of this. Maybe there are other publishers who are interested in it. I've been playing it recently. Keely's been asking to play it, and I've been having fun playing it. I've been like, oh, I really do enjoy this game, Who knows? Maybe something more will come of it. But that's the story. Thank you for being here, as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I will see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know is beneficent. It is an adjective meaning kindly in action, purpose, or speech. In a beneficent gesture, the neighborhood raised $10,000 to help pay for the young boy's leukemia treatments. Beneficent. B-E-N-E-F-I-C-E-N-T.